Today's June 9th. It's a Sunday. I'm here at Old World, Wisconsin, which is a rebuilt area, 600 acres by Pomeranian State Park. Have old historic buildings, animals. It was probably an hour from the state line of Illinois and Wisconsin. So I've never been here before, so we'll see what this is all about. It looks like it's pretty big. I mean, 600 acres is quite large. So we'll see what they have here. Here's a map of the area. Start down here, here's the entrance. Going up, they have sheep, horses, cattle, chickens. They have a little lake in there too. Pigs, ox. And then they have like people, I think the people are set up in the actual type of clothes that you can see some of the things here. Again, I've never been here before. No pets. Can't feed the animal. So we'll see what this is about. I love these old historic structures that they're renovating. Let the adventure begin and let's go inside. So if I need tickets, I guess I have to go down here. We'll see what this building is. First, I want to get my ticket, which is in the Ramsey building. So right outside the Ramsey building, they have the tram station, museum, store, and restaurants. There's a pathway there. So we'll check everything out, see what we can see here. A little cart with flowers on it. So here's inside the gift shop. So he was explaining what it is, and the buildings are from all over Wisconsin. They moved them all here. And then they have people dressed and explaining the stuff in the area. So that should be pretty interesting. Not sure where I'm supposed to start, but I'm gonna go to the building right here first. See what's over here. Because it seems like I'm at the far end, so I might as well hit it so I don't miss anything. So here's some events, or upcoming events. And they're pretty much open spring to fall, and then some holiday stuff. It's like they have a picnic area here. So if you bring your own food, you can actually have a spot to eat in the shade. It's actually pretty nice. Quite a few tables in here. Go to the first building here. So this is a brew house. Talks about some of the information. Or the history, I should say. So, well, this was built in 2022, so this is a completely new structure. It looks like it too. Let's go take a look inside the brew house. So they actually serve beer, obviously.
Barley, 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 barley. This is raw barley. This is pale malted barley, caramel barley, coffee, chocolate barley, malted wheat. It doesn't taste like chocolate. It just looks like chocolate. It tastes like coffee.
Even better.
You can try it if you want.
Can I have one?
Sure. You could try any of them but that. This one you might break a tooth on.
Can I try a sample now?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Certainly. And then we have someone like this young person come and turn this crank.
At the bottom, you're cranking it up, kiddo.
And that breaks it open.
Here, I'll do. Here, let me.
Wow. There's some prices.
All it states the enzymes that are naturally integrated in the lower plant.
Oh, they had restrooms here too. Here's where I first came in. It's a teaching garden. You do get the tickets now from the gift shop. I think because they've converted this building to a teaching facility. It's probably not open. So in addition to the $20 to get in, you can buy these tokens for $6 a piece. And there's different things that you can do, which are there, like make a leather keychain, soda water, iron hook from the blacksmith shop. There's an old stagecoach. Doesn't say you can't go in it, but I'm not sure if you can or not. And this is an old postal service mail truck, or mail wagon, I guess. They have all kinds of things just spread out all over. The nice thing is he said you can take the tram and it'll take you all over to the different areas, because 600 acres is pretty big. I'll walk it as well, but the tram will probably give me a good overview to Village and Farms. Oh, I think what's underneath here is the tram station under this historic building. I like the little archways. Must be cool at night, lit up too. Oh, I guess I could have gotten to it from up here. Oh no, it looks closed. So maybe you used to be able to go through the general store for it, but they have it blocked off right now. So you just go around the building.
I'm gonna do a loop back and pick up people, because it's starting to get to be that time of day when people start leaving.
Okay.
So, and then there's a full-size tram that goes out to Life on the Farm and the Scandinavian, Norwegian, Finnish area.
Now where do I grab that?
At Crossroads Village, right?
Okay.
I'll be taking you there.
Perfect.
Did you notice up here come some people? A lot of people are wanting to walk today.
I know. I figured because it was my first time here, I'm going to do the tram to get the lay of the land, and then I'm going to walk it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you can. So what you could do, all right, so first of all, you're down to like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Right.
That's about the minimum, so I'd suggest you take the tram a few times, you know.
Okay.
Because there's, if you look at your map, there's like quarter mile in between locations.
Oh,
and stuff
okay.
like that. I mean, it's a pretty big place.
Yeah, it is.
And 600 acres.
How long has it been here?
Since 1976.
Oh, wow.
Almost 50.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome to Old World, Wisconsin. My name is Steve. I'll be your tram driver today, along with Hiram and Chuck, who are out in the hinterlands of Old World, Wisconsin. Before we begin, for your safety, please only enter and exit the tram when it's at a full and complete stop. Please do not let any of your body parts be hanging out, because that would be bad and you could get hurt. And we're going to stop at all the red marked tram stop signs throughout the facility. Old World, Wisconsin was established in 1976 as part of Wisconsin's contribution to our nation's bicentennial celebration. It's situated on over 600 acres, managed by the Department of Natural Resources. There's over 60 buildings managed by the Wisconsin Historical Society. This was once part of the southern unit of Pomeranian State Park. The buildings are brought here from all across Wisconsin to help preserve our immigrant past. Our first stop over here is St. Peter's Catholic Church, formerly known as St. Luke's. It's the oldest building on site, and it was built in 1839. It was moved 3 times, once in, or twice in Milwaukee and once here to Old World, Wisconsin. 4 Mile House, which is a boarding house type scenario that was 4 miles from Horicon Marsh and 4 miles from Beaver Dam. This is known as a split rail fence, otherwise known as a snake fence, because it zigs and zags. To the right is our 1870s baseball diamond. Baseball was a bit different than it is today. The outfielders didn't wear gloves, and outfielders didn't play with gloves, and there was no strike zone. So you stayed up at the bag until you hit the ball.
Oh, wow.
Next is the Stanford House. He was a rich Yankee farmer. Loomer Barn is across the road there, and it has our 2 Morgan horses, Bess and Beauty. I am going to be turning around in Harmony Town Hall's turnaround. It was built in 1876 for $1,000, and the town was very cost conscious, so they didn't want to pony up the other $25 so that they could have padded seats. Fancy meeting you here.
Hello there.
She's one of the tram drivers.
Oh, okay.
And the creamery has modern bathrooms as well as fountain drinks, modern bathroom facilities, ice cream, and some basic gifts.
Here's the creamery. Unfortunately, I guess I got here kind of late. Vanilla, black cherry, or twist. They have a couple souvenirs you can get here, hats, scarves. Almost like an Indiana Jones type hat. Oh, they do have a baseball cap. 20 bucks. That's not too bad. They have little animals. Oh, and umbrellas too. So I'm gonna have to expedite this because he said 2 hours is kind of the minimum you need. So I'm gonna take trams to some areas. So leaving the creamery now. I'm gonna head back to the building there that we saw on the tram down over here. So here's a kind of like a posting area. See the old wood here. This is a 1870 Harmony Town Hall. It's built for $1,000. Look at the heating. Figured it opened. Almost looks like a schoolhouse. Boy, whoever wrote that has really nice handwriting. So this is folded, but here's where I came in, general parking. Went by the building here, got my tickets here. Here's the brew house. Oh, that's for special events. It's gonna be a tavern and beer garden. So then I went over here, walked down, got on the tram. It took me here past the church. Over here, there's the baseball field he was talking about. Creamery. And then here's where we are right now, which is the 1870 Harmony Town Hall. So the horses are over here. So I think what I'm gonna try to do is do the loop all around here and then come back around. So I'm gonna go through this area, might see the horses here, start with the cattle, the chickens, and the different buildings. Tram just went down that way, but out here you can see the horses are out here. So I'm walking to the Scandinavian homesteads. I missed both trams. I figured I could walk in the same amount of time and then that way I don't have to backtrack. Here you can see they must be doing plowing the fields. Really plows deep too. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm heading to the Scandinavian houses here. Looks like it's just down the path a little bit. And the crossroads where the short tram and the long tram meet was back there. That's where I missed both trams. But it's not that far of a walk really. So here's the Scandinavian houses. Got a cow over here. Hopefully you can see him there. We'll get closer. There's one inside too. I don't know if you can see him there in the doorway. Look at him, he's scratching his face. So I guess I have to zigzag through here, which is fine. Here, just walked here. So the cattle are right there. There is a house down here that you gotta take the road to. I think I might do this 22, which is the 1890 Finnish farm, just because I don't want to miss it and have to go back. So just walking to those 1890 Finnish homes. Okay, they're starting to peek out here. Zoom in a little bit there. They have a home here, and I think this might be a barn. Oh, looks like the barn's closed. They probably open it up when they have stuff. Outhouse. Let's go to the house here because that is open. There's actually some games that kids can play. This is a 1890 Finnish immigrant farm. Assuming farmhouse. It's the kitchen area.
He worked on ships for most of his life. Initially, in California in the mid-1880s, and he decided to stop doing ship stuff. We don't even know exactly what he did on the ships. But he stopped doing that and he decided to start working on railroads. We do know he had quite a bit of carpentry skill. And then somewhere he built railroads, and he ended up in Michigan through that. And in Michigan he opened a boarding house, did a bit of mining, and then he had enough money to sign up for his wife and kids. So now it's been about probably 5 years. So it's around 1890 now, and he decides that he doesn't actually want to do that. So he goes from Michigan to Bayfield County, Wisconsin, so up on Lake Superior in the settlement of Hulu. He decides to build this house and do farming instead, and so he did some carpentry as well here and there. And he builds this house after a couple of years he has enough money. He built this house in 1892. After a couple of years he has enough money and sent back for his wife and kids in Michigan. And then sometime around 1897 they get here and he starts building all parts of the house as well. This partition here was the pad on the shore. So the whole room was here, but the partition was added and the kitchen was in. And that was
Here's the cows. There's one actually back over there too in the doorway. At least that's super hot today. So I'm gonna walk through this area now. Your cow friend. I don't know if this was an outhouse as well. Yep. Boy, they had a lot of them. See the barn here. Obviously it's locked because they don't want the cows running around. Oh, this one's locked. I hope you can see what's in there. I'll put indicators to what everything is, because I don't want to keep pulling out the map. Go to that house in a minute. It's like a homestead house. These two look identical. This whole area, from the cows over there to the area back over here, was just listed as the 1910 Finnish immigration farm. So it's for chickens and cows. I think you can go in a lot of the buildings. I think they said there were 60. So I don't know if this might have been a chicken coop actually. Maybe the cages would be up there and they have the heating for them. Now I'm gonna make it dirty where you just swept.
no worries.
So is this a farmhouse?
Yep. This is our Finnish farmhouse. It was built in 1893. It's from Bayfield County in the town of Oulu. So it's basically at the tippy top of our state.
Okay.
But this would have been the farmhouse. Heike was a salesman, so he had the farm initially, which he tried doing, which ended up not necessarily working out the best because
Okay.
the farmland up north is typically not the greatest.
Ah.
So he, being a man of the turn of the century, kind of took that and then made changes. So he tried selling things, and that ended up working pretty good. So he became a very good salesman. There was a story that he it's a story, and I'm not certain it's true, but the story and legend was that Heike could sell milking equipment to someone who didn't have a cow. So,
Really?
Yeah, so, you know, he was a good salesman if that was the story around him.
What's this, corn?
That is an egg butter. We made some rice pasties, which are a traditional Finnish pasty. This is the filling, and then that egg butter is the
Spread?
Yep, the spread for it.
Wow.
Yeah, so nice little pasty. It's mostly rice and milk, and then some salt and stuff. So I really.
So was that like a traditional meal for them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have other things with it, but.
Gotcha.
One of the
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, this one's big.
Yeah, it looks smaller on the outside.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's a bedroom?
Nope, this one would be the parlor.
Okay.
You do see a bed though, so you're not half wrong. They had 3 children, and they had 2 bedrooms. So one of the bedrooms was their bedroom, the other one was their daughter's, and then lastly, their sons would sleep out in their parlor room. So
Wow.
functioned as a bedroom, but mostly their parlor room.
So this is their bedroom?
That is their teenage daughter's bedroom. The door that's shut would have been their bedroom. There was a story that so Heike, the man who built the house, lived in here until the 1950s. And
Oh, wow.
because he lived here so long, we were able to hear about his family. And the story was that they were very traditional, and they never let their daughter, their sons see in their bedroom. So,
Really?
Yeah.
It's funny how it's like there's not like a lot of decorative stuff, but then all of a sudden you got the cabinet.
Yes, yeah.
So they had some stuff. What's this, music?
Yep, music. It's a Victrola.
Wow.
So would play your records.
What were these, speakers?
Nope, it's a little cabinet. You'd store
Okay.
stuff in there. You would crank the side, and then there is this knob that when you cranked it, it would spin the record for you. But there's no needle on it, so
So you can't do it?
yes.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
Here's looking back at the house I was just at. I believe here's where the chickens would roam. They might still have them out here. It might just be a garden. I keep timing it really bad with the tram. They probably would get through a lot more faster. I believe this was another barn. Part of the same area, just a little bit down the road from there. Pretty good size. The door was low, so it was obviously for animals. So I did the Finnish immigrant farm and the Crossroads village, so there's life on the farm. But there's actually a whole nother area here, I believe. The road kind of curves around here and leads to another area, so I'll just add it to that. All these trees in a row here. Probably go up 50, 60 feet. Just heading to the next section now. We do have trails that cut through. There is a deer here. I don't know if you can see him. He's gonna bolt in a second. He's trying to stand still, but I'm sure when I pass them. They do have these cut through trails too. If you want to bypass a section, you can cut through. See if we can get him in. Oh, he don't like me looking at him. Hey, buddy. It's like a statue. Hi. Off he goes. There's a farmhouse. Or not the farmhouse, the barn. And the farmhouse is over here. Got a little bit turned around here. Robin eggs, pigeon eggs, oh, goose eggs, pretty big. Wren. I wonder what this was. Okay, just like little knickknacks. Pots, pans. Here's the stove. Oh, so you could lift those up. Seems like this will get really hot with the stove going. Oh, that's like the parlor room she called the other one. It's another entrance way into it. And then here's the bedroom. Oh, it has a second floor too. But you can't go up there. I thought this was the room, the building I was in before, but it's actually a different one. These are kind of neat because they have selfie stands. Just put it on the timer, and then it's set up to give you a great, a decent shot. So I would definitely recommend probably 3, maybe 4 hours here to really take the time and see everything. I only had 2.5 hours, so I was a little bit limited, but I'm gonna get through as much of it as I can. But definitely build in enough time to see everything. So here's the 1900s schoolhouse, which looks like it's open, so we'll go inside this one. So we got different 1900 games for kids to do. So it's very Little House on the Prairie.
Well, this is Wisconsin. Are you from Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Where you went?
But I wasn't.
Yeah, I meant grew up in. Sorry, my bad. All right. Do you know where was Wisconsin's first capital located?
No.
How about, let's just take a stab. It was someplace like Mineral Point.
Oh, there it is. There's Mineral Point. Okay, very close.
I think they're like 7 miles apart or something.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, no, it was in Belmont.
So here's the schoolhouse from the outside. I'd go past it again. Here's some of the games. So that's the schoolhouse there. Like I said, I'm doing them pretty fast just so I can make sure I get through as many of them as I can. I really thought it would only take like 2 hours, but I guess didn't read it. The actual guide, it said the schoolhouse was Raspberry School. So I'm not sure. I guess it's kind of, they just shortened the name for the plaque outside. So we're coming up on the sheep over here. Hopefully you can see them out there. And there's a couple down here, but the grass is really high, so it's hard to see them. So on the map, I'm right over here. So they have like a picnic grove. We'll see what building 29 is. Oh, it's a private event space, so nothing to see there. So I'm gonna come back here and do the sheep and chicken building, and then I'll come down here and then head to life on the farm. So here's an 1860 Norwegian immigrant farm. We're back on the other side of the sheep over there. Hopefully you can see them, they're grazing in the shade. There's quite a few buildings here. Well, I guess we'll go to this one first and go all the way around. This one actually has a porch. Oh, it's got like a cellar down there. The latch. Old sewing machine. That's to go upstairs, which is closed off. '1860 house. It's amazing. It's pretty dark in here, so hopefully it'll show up. The old wood burning stoves and heaters. It's like a storage unit and bench. What's this, the kitchen maybe? Yep. There's a stove. Actually, there's that top part. I don't know what that's for. It's like a double. Pots and pans. Some jugs down there, kitchen table. So if we get that cabinet closer.
Does the lanolin come out for this process?
Usually we remove the lanolin earlier in the process. When we wash the bowl, which is pretty similar to this process of heating up water, having it in the hot water, and then, you know, taking it out and doing things like that. So the lanolin is already arced by this process.
It's where they process all the wool. And prior was them actually cleaning it and making it into yarn. Boy, look at this old, I mean, it looks like a fireplace, but it's gotta be some kind of like hearth or something. All these places have like a second floor. I don't think you can see anything up there, but stuck the camera up there. Another outhouse. Here's a garden. The back side of the house we were looking at. Love those old structures, how they can keep them going. At least to visit them, you know. Oh, I think there's something in that barn, but they're not out right now. Oh, probably sheep, because they're down. Yeah, they got the gate open down there. They're over in the field, so that's where they stay at night. Like I said, I can look on the map and I'll put little titles in the final video. I just don't want to pause right now. Yeah, like the buildings, they don't have them each individually always marked. It's like the area more. This is a strange one because it's kind of like two connected on the roof. So maybe they can separate them. Nobody's in there right now. It's big iron kettle there. So here's a panoramic of the 1860s Norwegian farm. There's the barn building where the sheep would be. The garden's over there. There's the farmhouse, and where they process the wool's down below. This looks like maybe a chicken coop. I don't know if it's not locked. There's just a pin here. Oh, it's a shed. But it does look like, I don't know, maybe they store chickens in here or something. Want to put it back. This looks like a well. Obviously closed off right now. Oh, there's little steps. Oh, yeah, it is a well. This is really wooded out here, and I'm early in the season, so there's no bugs, but I'd probably imagine late July, early August, it would start getting pretty buggy, so I would definitely bring some bug spray. Now we're coming up on the 1840s settler's cabin. It's almost 200 years ago. The year is 1840. You're in the Wisconsin Territory. This is an 1840 settler's cabin. Oh, good. It isn't open. There's music playing, though. Yeah, it's locked. Oh. Boy, it's all just one room. I guess I kept the pig inside. Hang the laundry above the beds. So I'm assuming this was kind of the kitchen, bedroom, and this is kind of where you just hung out, maybe? Look at all kind of furs. pelts, clothes storage. Oh, here's a, oh, so these came out. So you can put your pots and pans closer to the flame to get more heat. I think this is water. I want to drop the thing. Probably stored water in there so they don't have to keep going out. Look at those beams. Look at these beams. Bed area. All the trees in a row. So we're heading to life on the farm. We've already finished the Scandinavian homestead, then the main trail. Here we are at life on the farm. (1860) Pomeranian immigrant farm. All the quartered off gardens. This big weaving press. Have to see what this is on the other side.
Back behind the door there, that's the master bedroom. And we do have a crib in there because at this time period, they're having a baby about every other year. It's just the way you did it back then. Most farm families had 8 to 10 kids back in the day. That all ended kind of with my father's generation. On my mother's side, we had so many grandkids, by the time I came around, my grandparents had no clue who I was. Upstairs here, 2 bedrooms, one for the boys, one for the girls. Don't make me come up there. And that's how you settle any differences. Then we move from there into the kitchen. We have the dining area here, and we have a cooking area over here, and most of the meals would be made over here in what's called the nook. And the fire actually goes in the upper area right under the pans. And if you see, they have some pans that actually have legs on them. I wish they called this farm the 1840s farm. Everything about this farm is 1840s. When did the Germans first come over and start farming? 1830s, 1840s. And this farm captures it. We have the oxen. That's all you needed back then. We have the threshing barn. You're cutting your wheat with a scythe, you're threshing it with a flail by hand on a threshing floor. So that's the time period that we cover. Then the times change. Then also in this kitchen, over here we have the pantry. The pantry, we have a root cellar in the pantry. That's pretty darn fancy for the time period. Usually the root cellar is just dug into the side of a hill somewhere. The Wizard of Oz comes to mind. But they're rich, so all you do is you pull your produce in the wagon cart there. You have a trough that goes down into the root cellar. Somebody's down there taking it and stacking it. In the root cellar, we have over here this cabinet is called the pie safe. Do you know where we're keeping the pie safe from? You, right? I know. From flies. The first time I ever came to Old World, some gal had baked this beautiful pie and it was covered with flies. And nothing takes my appetite away quicker than watching a bunch of flies on top of the food that I'm supposed to eat. So it keeps them off of there. Leaning up against that, it's called a mandolin. Mandolin is for slicing cabbage. So 3 items were served with every dinner, which is served at noon, and every supper, which is served after dark. One is cabbage, usually kraut. The second is potatoes, usually boiled. And here we have the apparatus to boil potatoes in. And the third is bread, usually rye. Then from what happened, just to take you through the 3 different farms. This is wheat farming. Late 1860s, the wheat crop failed. A little bug called the cinch bug wiped us out. What are we going to do now? That takes you to the 1870s farm where she's making the soup today. So what they did then is they grew that American crop corn and they fed it to pigs. And over at that farm, they have a big piggery, a big hog house. This is the first year I've ever worked here, we haven't had a big slew of pigs over there. And then we have the big smokehouse over there too. So the farmers are butchering the hogs, smoking the meat, taking that smoked meat to town, selling that because they don't have the wheat. Then that takes you, also at this time period, they started growing potatoes. Up north they did cranberries. We're still the #1 cranberry producing state in the nation, and tobacco. Anyway, then the other room we haven't gotten to yet is the women's workroom. First see a loom set up in the women's workroom in spring, summer, or fall. This is collapsible. It has these pegs. You're able to take it apart. It's one of those things, once you know how to do it, it's easy to do. But until you know how to do it, it's a heck of a job. So you'd set this up, take it down. But we have it up because we're a museum and a lot of people have an interest in weaving clothing. At this time period, you're still making a lot of your clothing. How many shirts do you have? You don't even know. Back in my day, you would have had 3. One to wear outside to work, one to wear to church and school, and one to wear while the other was getting washed. And that's about it. You appreciated the articles of clothing you had back then. Later on, by the time you get over to the 1870s, then you're buying a lot of your fabric at the general store. You can still make some of it, but you did have alternatives. So I take the flax plant, and the process here is you pull the flax plant up by the root. Do you see that those have been pulled up by the root? You do that because you want the fiber to be as long as it possibly can. The longer the fiber, the higher quality the piece of a linen we're going to make is out of the flax plant. And if you want to know a back-breaking job, it's pulling that flax out of the ground by the root. You know what you do to make it easier?
Money.
No, you have the kids do it.
Kids do it, yeah.
That's why you have the little rascals back then. I know. So big farm family. So you're out. If you're on a farm, you're doing back-breaking work anyway, doing somewhere something. So pulling the flax plant out. Then the next step is called rippling. You run it through, those are the seed pods up there, and it's like one row of nails, and you pull it through and then the seeds fall to the floor. And then you hackle it. And here we have a hackle, and what we're doing is we're pulling these flax fibers through the hackle so that we can make a, and what this does, it takes the stalk off and it also polishes it. And this right. Anyway, girls that have this color hair called flaxen haired girls, and boys that have this color hair called tow heads. And tow is what's left in the hackle. So if you see over here, each of these is for threads. And you warp 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 and you warp. How big of a piece are you going to be making is what we're looking for. So all of these are linen threads. Now the difficult part comes. All this has been fun up till now. Now it's warping the loom. Warping the loom, each thread has to be attached to the loom individually. So you see how they're attached right here? You start by attaching it there. Then you go through the hole right here. Then we'll call this heddle 1 and heddle 2. You go through, attach it to heddle 1, all the way back here. And we wanted ours to be 13 feet long, so you still have to keep going out. Then we take our next piece of thread. We attach it here. We go through the second hole. We attach that to heddle B. So every other one gets attached. Are you getting the idea? And there are hundreds of these holes that you have to do. If you haven't seen it over here, there is a German expression that's written on this piece of wood right here. It's based on a proverb. I'm not positive, but I think it's there because warping the loom is difficult, time-consuming, and so frustrating it makes you want to cuss. But you look at the proverb, and it puts it back into perspective for you that this too shall pass, and you'll get your loom warped, and then you can start weaving away. Then I take the beater board, and I beat it right now. I had that thing just perfect. Thank goodness it's not breakable. And then what you do is you take the other heddle, push it down, the other heddle goes up, So the B threads are up and the A threads are down, and you put it through there and pull the beater board. Once you get going on the loom, you really get in a rhythm. No, yeah, good question.
That's a really big house.
Doesn't take, no. So all you really do is linen is bleach.
Looks like it's a kid's bedroom.
You have linen over there, so you can feel free to pick them up.
God, this is like a dungeon. Oh, the chimney's way up there.
So that linen, what we have here is cotton, and we dye the cotton. And I'm telling you, it's so hard to work with the linen.
Now they're upstairs.
Yeah, thanks for listening to me.
Now we're at the back of the house. Look at this barn. Oh, there's a pig. Oh, there's a couple of them. They're snorting. Oh my gosh, they're so noisy.
So we do have facilitators here that we have to show you around.
One's just laying in the mud. It must be cool. Here's the pig barn. There's another barn there we'll go into after. That's where the pigs sleep. And they were right out there. Chicken coop here. Oh, with the eggs. And the pigs are right next door. Oh, and there's another section. I don't know what's upstairs. Well, it's pretty big. This might be for like a horse or a cow. The back or side of the building. Sure, there's somebody out there. Look at the foundations that it's built on. They're just like clusters of rocks. That's where the pigs were, and there's the farmhouse over here. Hay barn. Supposed to be a hay cart. I got it drying up there. Let's see, some kind of machine to work the hay. Oh, here come the horses. Better angle of the horses. They have a really big area. The grass is going with the wind there. See what this building is coming up.
The house that we lived in, the barn was attached right off to the left. You know, the building was
Coming into this house. Looks like a more modern house. Again, I'll put the titles above if I know which one they are. So it has a cut through to the other room. Wardrobe. there's actually bricks in the floor. This be like a kitchen prep area. Different clothes. Multiple beds. Here's a dollhouse. Heating. Here's the other side to that room we were in before. Sewing machine.
And when you step once, step once, and then it pulls on the top of your foot when you step.
Here's the wooden shoes.
Those are super big for you.
Here's another outhouse. There's the horses again. Laundry. Here's a garden with like a wooden plank. It's like more barns. Oh, I can go to this one first. There's nobody here. This I'd say is definitely chicken. Yep. There you go. Hey guys. Trying to get the fence knot in there. Here's overlooking the area. Oh, this barn door is open. For the cows. Must be for feed and stuff. This must be the woodworking shed. Butter churn. Old lawnmowers. Here's more of that snake fence. Because of the shape, how it goes left and right. Must be a fire pit. Animal encounter. Hey, there's a baby sheep. I think they're a couple weeks old. Hopefully they show up. That's an overview of the area. I believe there's a cemetery in here too. Pleasant Ridge United Brethren Church and Community Cemetery. That seems pretty cool. Here's the church. 10 pews, 5 on each side. It's weird how the heating went across and not just straight out the roof. Oh, I guess you needed the brick. But you think they would have just put it here instead of running that pipe over the people? Information about it. The old piano. Please do not play. Look at the Little lights and how they have a reflector behind them. So I was going to finish up with the cemetery next. And I think I'm pretty much out of time because it's like 5 minutes to 4 and it closes at 4. I think next week it starts being open till 5. I'll list the hours up here. Let's go to the cemetery here. Here's the outside of the church. And coming up on the cemetery here. Seeing the walkway where people walk, so I guess there's a certain way. Look at these old stones. A little bit weathered. Some of them they must have replaced because they look like they're in much better shape. But instead of the birth in the end, they put how old they were. 16 years, 2 days. I wonder if this one goes the other way. Yeah. 40 years. Murdered by the hands of cruel murderer. Wow. This one looks fairly new or replaced. So they must replace a couple of them. I don't know if this will say what it is. Well, that's life on the farm. That's the area we're leaving. There's more of the cemetery back there. Here's the marsh area. It's actually really big. So I'm going back to Crossroads because I only did the creamery and the village hall. So I need to do a couple more. Hopefully they'll let me walk through it because they're closing in like a minute. I probably won't be able to go in any shops, but at least I can give you guys an idea of what was there. I'll probably end up coming back later in the year and definitely give myself a lot more time. So maybe there'll be a second version of this as well. So stay tuned on that. Coming back to Crossroads Village, I'm hoping that they can still let me go through it. I know the stores won't be empty or won't be open, but I still want to at least get it from the outside, which I think I have to walk through to get back anyways. It's like so cool. It's like an old Western town. So this is the Crossroads where I started from, but I never did this section. It's now closed, but I can at least walk through and show you what it looks like. So the first one is the shoe store. Sorry, I was running uphill to kind of get some of this. Shoes and boots. Got the old storefront. Hopefully you can see in there. Oh, maybe this is better. So these would be open.
The other tram is coming down to pick you up.
Here's some of the buildings. I have to take the tram back because it's closed now. We can at least see some of the stuff. There's a church. So this concludes the video. That last part, because it was closed, I had to get on the tram and ride back. So next time I'll come, I'll definitely give myself more time. Because the Crossroads section, I only did the creamery and the village hall. But definitely worth it for 20 bucks. I would give yourself 3.5 to 4 hours, especially if it's in the summer and it's busier. But there's, if you're really into historical places, because a lot of the buildings were moved from other places in Wisconsin. So there's a lot to see here. It's just really nice, especially like today, it's like 75, so the weather was perfect. for just hiking around here. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more content like this. Now I'm leaving Old World, Wisconsin. Thanks for watching.